A little early here, get things up and running. Get things up and running. Become a member of this channel. No thanks, YouTube. I am the ultimate member of this channel. I have access to all the content before it even reaches YouTube. You can't tell me. You can't tell me to join my channel. I am the channel. That is too funny. Because I'm not even logged in as like my phone account or something. I am logged in as HumanBoy.
My son was a
and it was still like, you should join this channel. I think you'd like it. It's a good channel. Oh. I'm just waiting for all the ads to finish up so I can do an audio check. You should join this channel. I think you'd like it. What up, dudes? What up? How's it going? Gonna let people gather for a bit. Got a fun event planned for the upcoming weeks. We'll do a charity stream for puppies. So it'll be like any donations during that stream will go to animal shelters. Like, I'll find a charity before we start it and like post that. And we have 2 players in our community who are very nice gentlemen, but they also both really love their dogs. So I thought about having them do like a best of 5 or best of 7 show match for the content. Is that rat AI generated? I don't know. You'd have to ask Masked Twist. He made it. He made it for me. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, the cat left. That might mean the stream has to start. There's not a lot of people, so I don't want to start it yet. I don't want to do that. Oh boy. Question. Anybody else out there have anxiety? Anybody out there just vibing? I've been riding the struggle bus recently. It's really annoying. Who did Azazel dirty like that? It was one of the prizes for the Skaven Slave Champion, Anti-Kaiju. If you didn't see that stream yet, spoilers, but that was a while ago, so it's more on you than me. Yeah, his prize was a custom Discord emote. So, he picked Azazel plus clown emote, so we had our local artist do that. Generally speaking, yes, for the anxiety stuff, yeah, just sucks. It blows. I know I've been talking about it a bit recently, and not everybody comes here for a downer, so I'll leave it alone, but good vibes would be appreciated. What in tarnation is that rat picture from? Mass Twist made it for us. I added it to my giant repertoire of rat blockers that I just use in screenshots and shit. But let's get on with it, huh? I've stalled for long enough. Righty. As with our other replay streams, there's been like a million hotfixes, so I can't go back in time and find the patch these actually occurred on. And then CA came out with the most recent hotfix that literally just said you can't go back to any previous rollback patches, so some of the replays are screwed. Now, certain players who are involved in this have told me that their early replays were fine, but cards on the table, it takes a lot of time to go back and watch all those replays, even on ×4 speed, to see if they're all up to code. So watching the between, what is that, 3×2, so between the 6 and 9, I had to watch for this one to make sure they're okay. That's a lot, and then to go back further and do that is also annoying. And also, I am very, very busy right now in life in general. So doing semifinals and finals for a stream is just more manageable after I get home from work before I have to go to bed. So that's what we're doing. It's also just more viable if I do that for all 5 tiers, Skaven, Slave, Clan Rat, Stormvermin, Chieftain, and Gracier, and then everybody gets some fair treatment. Where okay, so again, if some of the people that didn't make it to the semifinals would be like, oh, fair treatment, I don't get cast, very nice. But like, if every stream is, if you make it to semifinals, your games get cast. If not, you don't. As opposed to, well, the Skaven Slaves got all their games cast because the replays worked. The Clan Rats didn't get any cast because none of their replays worked. Stormvermin got like 6. It's just bleh, inconsistency. So with the way the patches are going, we're just gonna do the semifinals and finals. Necromancer hops in with the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, sir. Very generous. You and Kyle keeping the lights on in this house, man. Keeping the lights on. So enough spieling and bantering. And since the Phoenix King is here, he just got gifted a membership. I will cast his best of 3 first so that he can go to bed, because I know he is not from the States, and I know he's staying up for this. So let's cast his games with Big JP first. They gave out driving licenses like candy these days. Alright. So game 1 between these two. With the new streaming software, I haven't had time to go figure out and tinker around with how to get a scorecard up, or how to get my camera up. So we do just try and heavily narrate what game this is. This is game 1 between Big JP and the Phoenix King. Phoenix King, if you can't tell from his name, is an elf main. Looks like he's starting off on one of his beloved factions. Meanwhile, Big JP, I kind of associate him as a greenskin player, but he kind of dabbles in a bit of everything, so. Tomb Kings are the new hotness right now. Ever since the big kitty cat buffs, they have been very meta and very strong, so it looks like Big JP did pick them up. Hi, Torreson. Yeah, but you're not over in Europe. Moving to Minnesota tomorrow, so let's share some stuff today. Minnesota's a good state, dude. You'll love it. I love it. Big fan of the state. I work for the state, though, so there's some bias there. Anyway. Speaking of the meta, if this is your first thing you're watching on my channel, then you will now learn that the big kitty cats of the Tomb Kings are super meta right now. Cetra's riding one with his Cursed Blades and Incantation of Vengeance. There's a regular one next to him. Skeleton Spearman frontline is pretty standard stuff. Nekar Warriors backing them up with melee, Ushapti, and then 4 Skeleton Horse Archers. It's a pretty solid anti-High Elf build. For the High Elves, their Spearmen will hold forever against the forces of the Tomb Kings, so they're more than suitable as a front line. Then we have Fireborn, other Dragon Princes, a lot of Bolt Throwers, 3 of them to counter Ushapti Great Bows if they are around, which they are not. And it looks like we have an early pick here as the Kemrian War Sphinx is getting run down by the Fireborn as we speak. But as with most monsters with large mass in this game, as long as it is moving, it is nearly invulnerable. So it is safe and sound, and that is, if you hang around a lot of multiplayer, you'll hear people complain about when big single entities are the meta. That's generally why, is they feel kind of janky. They don't play by the rules everything else does. For the rest of the Elf army, since we didn't quite finish that, there is just a Mage of Life on a Moon Dragon with Regrowth and Earthblood, and other than that, it is Spearmen and Dragon Princes with Bolt Throwers. Am I the only one who still likes Cetra on his chariot? Likes? I like it. I think it's cool. If you mean likes as in it's meta and strong, then yeah, you're probably alone there. His chariot's overpriced and doesn't have as much mass as his kitty cat. Lyrian Reavers jump in just to get bodied and run away, but they did save their life caster and get her back up into the sky. Now on the front line, it's going very poorly for the Tomb Kings. Ushapti are getting charged by Dragon Princes. Also, they're just stuck fighting Spearmen, and the High Elf Spearmen are some of the best in the game if you just have to fight them in melee. If you use spells or something, then they have a hard time and they're very expensive. But yeah, if you purely have to melee them like most Tomb Kings builds have to, High Elf Spearmen will do the trick for you just fine. Fireborn are back in. Cetra may have overextended, but once again, like we said before, as long as it is a single entity that is in the meta, it can just walk away without taking much damage. Cetra will be just fine. What up, Guillaume? How you doing? Dragon Prince is trying to peel for their backline. Phoenix King has managed to keep his Bolt Throwers online up till now, though I shouldn't have said that because one just gets routed. The other one is currently saturated. If you see all the little green icons over here, then that one is also going down. So only one Bolt Thrower is truly still online. How's the rest of this going for the High Elves? Okay, the Fireborn getting a regrowth as they surround Cetra, and this time he's not running for the hills. He is debuffing them, trying to lower their stats, but the dragon jumping in as well, that'll be good damage onto Tzeentch. And Tzeentch is slow healing from the Tomb King's army passive and from his own spells he spams out. But it's not like he has a regrowth to get him out of jail free, so all this damage he's taking will take quite a long time to get back, if he gets it back at all. Tomb Kings still have a lot of infantry, though I wouldn't necessarily say that's like a imminent win condition. Cycle charging with Dragon Prince's healing and, of course, a dragon can kill nearly infinite amounts of infantry, but the infantry does put these bolt throwers on a timer before they stop being effective or useful. Ushopti, you're taking a bit of damage. Not sure if any of the Ushopti summons have come out yet or not, but Cetro is having a really hard time getting away from the Fireborn. Now stuck in the trees, trying to waddle his way through with Series Incantation Event is doing a lot of damage to the Fireborn, but he's taking so much, he even starts to crumble. Looks like the High Elves might successfully Lord Snipe him. And as you know, if you played any undead faction, losing your Lord is a disaster. Every faction needs their Lord, it's kind of a core game mechanic, but the undead especially rely on their Lords for relevancy. But I would say this game isn't over just yet for the Tomb Kings, even if the Lord Snipe comes through, because the High Elves are just in a really bad spot everywhere else that's not the Lord Snipe. The Fireborn are nearly heal capped and almost dead. These Lyran Reavers are almost dead. I don't see any healthy Fireborn still running around. Now, maybe if this one gets regrowth, I guess they only have 22 models, though, and dropping, so it's like, you killed Cetra, but can you actually finish off the rest of the force? We will see. I would rather, no, don't get me wrong, I would rather be the High Elves than the Tomb Kings in this situation. I'm just saying it's not over. The High Elves don't have a lot to fall back on. I think it's going to be crucial if they can get a regrowth onto, I thought I just saw a Dragon Prince with a lot of models. There we go. This Dragon Prince with 42 models is going to be huge in how this game goes, so they need a regrowth stat. The Fireborn are also still high in models, low on health. From JP, Ushopti Summon is out, trying to flank these guys, but Phoenix King sees it. He's going to run his Dragon Princes and Fireborn away. Meanwhile, the Bolt Thrower crews are in trouble. This is the last Bolt Thrower that's online. As we can see, those infantry, the timer is ticking, and it is going off, my friends. There's no saving that Bolt Thrower crew now. It's a lot of High Elves routing in the center. We have a little bit of crumbling here and there from the Tomb Kings without Cetra's leadership, but overall they're fine. Now that Ushopti summon, the full health one is fake. They'll go away in due time. There is still one Kitty Cat, and actually Phoenix King manages to rally one Bolt Thrower for what I'm going to guess is a shockingly short amount of time, because I'm pretty sure the Tomb Kings are going to walk right on top of it and shut it down. Hey, Wicked, how you doing? I was just in the desert and used the black light to spot a hidden tomb scorpion. Wicked, I'm guessing there's some truth to that, and if so, cool. If you're entirely lying, then you know what, dude, don't lie to me. You know I'm gullible. How many breath has the dragon? Oh, good question. Phoenix King has all 3 of his breath attacks left. So the Ushopti summon is fading away. But as Kiyama has pointed out, there's still all the breath attacks left on the Dragon Lord. Bolt Thrower crew still getting shut down here and there. Phoenix King has a lot of cycle charging left to him, which is why way earlier in the game, when Cetra was still alive, I said I don't necessarily consider all of the infantry like a game-winning advantage. It's an advantage, but it's not like unassailable by a cycle charging. But this War Sphinx paired with all the infantry is going to be a problem. So where this War Sphinx needs to kind of end up is he always needs to fight on his own support. JP has an abundance of support, but he lacks damage. This Cambrian War Sphinx and his Ushopti that he has left are the limited damage he has remaining. So he's got to fight on top of these guys. These guys are his shields. If that War Sphinx gets caught out, even against Wounded Fireborn and an Archmage of Life, I mean, it's still going to take just crazy amounts of damage that can't be allowed. For the High Elves, they just need to do what they are doing. Pick off anything that's not near the Cambrian War Sphinx, and then try and hope the Cambrian War Sphinx overextends at some point, and then punish it. You have a little bit of agency of time. You have 3 breath attacks to use. You have a healing caster, so time is usually on your side if you have a healing caster. So the High Elves just want to make very few mistakes, and we already might be seeing one as the Archmage of Life stays on the ground, but this is what we were worried about. The Fireborn get a full surround. Other Dragon Princes are swooping in to get these other Ushopti, and the giant pile of infantry is very far in the distance, leaving our Cambrian War Sphinx roughly all alone. Roughly. There are some Ushopti nearby, don't get me wrong, but those are getting taken care of pretty quickly. There are also some skeleton spears. Now the Khemrian War Sphinx is getting some damage out onto the Fireborn. As we mentioned, they're nearly heal capped, but they don't have a lot of health left to give, so any damage onto them is huge. Overall, I'd still say this was about the best the High Elves could hope for, but we are starting to see how tattered they truly are. Also, having a mage on a dragon as your lord is a giant boost to your balance of power that could quickly go away if you end up in a late game just having to fight in skeleton spearmen. So the high elf caster always has to make sure she has someone else to fulfill the attacking role, because if she has to just sit in spears, she'll die so fast. No dragon character likes to sit in spears. Even like Malekith and Imrik don't like to just sit in basic spears. She is sitting with some Dragon Prince support for now, but the Dragon Princes are taking a lot of damage. I think the High Elves, they're doing well in this trade because she is trading a lot better in the Khemrian War Sphinx than I had worried. She even gets it to disintegrate, and now she should be fine. Bolt Thrower's back online even. They're resetting their battle lines, and now the Dragon Princes and the Healing Caster can get away. And yeah, I think the High Elves will have this. She still has 3 breath attacks, but that was getting a little risky. The Archmage of Life doing better than I would have thought, though, in melee versus Khemrian War Sphinx without cycle charging. Like, she actually just stood and fought that thing, which is a little surprising. Is using breath attack on infantry better or the Sphinx? Definitely infantry, considering the battlefield situation. In general, it depends. And I know that's not a satisfying answer. There are times where there's an objective correct answer, right? Like Necropolis Knights. If there were Necropolis Knights here, then I'd be all your breath attacks should go into the Necropolis Knights. That's the objectively right answer. The Khemrian War Sphinx is kind of a dodgy motherfucker, so it's really hard to hit him with a good solid breath attack. But if you can, it's worth it. But also, the state of the game the Phoenix King was in was there was a ton of infantry he had to grind through. All of his damage was great versus the Sphinx. The Fireborn, fantastic. Dragon Princes, pretty good. His Bolt Thrower was back online, pretty good. And his Dragon, as we saw, could duel it. Nothing he had wanted to sit in spears, so I think in that case the breath attacks are better used on the spears. But if you ask me in a game in general, it depends. Because it depends on what you're good at. Now flip the High Elves build and say they have, I'm being ridiculous, but say they have 3 Swordmasters, then yeah, you don't need the breath attacks for the infantry because your Swordmasters could clear nearly infinite Tomb King's infantry. You need to stop that Sphinx from killing your Swordmasters. So in this situation he was in, I think all Phoenix King's breath attacks for the rest of the game should have gone on the infantry, but the game ended as soon as he used one. All right. For Big JP, just going through the builds real quick. His infantry got pretty solid value, eventually getting through the High Elf Spears and then harassing the Bolt Throwers. Ushapti also did okay. The Sphinxes got pretty good value. So everything besides the Skeleton Horse Archers had a good game. Which looks weird when you're the one who lost, but when you're fighting against healing, your damage value is going to be inflated because the enemy gets more health than you're used to. For the Phoenix King, his build did what it was supposed to. Fireborn just ran around and cycle charge stuff, but he did have the counter kite tools in case he was getting Ushapti Greatbow kited or something. He had triple bolt thrower, so I liked it. And Phoenix King always kind of does something a little unexpected with High Elves. He likes to take the Prince on a dragon, or as we saw here, just a Life Mage on her dragon. Very rarely does he take, like, Imrik or whatever's meta at the time. On to game 2. My first thoughts is, why doesn't Norsca have a caster? Why doesn't Norsca have a caster? Phoenix King. It is always worth it to have a caster. Even just take a caster on foot, like just take a foot Spirit Leech caster, foot Doom and Darkness caster, foot Burning Head caster. It's always worth it. I have to think this is a mistake. And whether it's a mistake of he forgot or whether it's a mistake of he is disagreeing with me and he doesn't think he needs one, in my opinion, it is a mistake not to bring a caster every time. So we have Wulfric the Wanderer with Sword of Torgold, Hunter of Champions. No Sea Fang either. I guess you just don't want to kill the infantry. That's fine. We have 2 War Mammoths. One has a War Shrine, the other one is regular. 5 Marauders, 4 Skin Wolves, and a couple flanking dogs. On the other side for the Skaven, a little bit more typical. 3 Night Runners. After their buffs, they are very strong, them and their Gutter Runner cousins. 4 Skaven Slave Slingers, 5 Skaven Slave Slingers, 1 Warplock Jazalitas, the Natty Booba Sharpshooters, then Clan Rats, Stormvermin Halberds, Ikka Claw, and Rat Ogres. I hate that the Stormvermin are in the back. I made an entire video about this, but if you didn't see that, or if I wasn't clear in the video, my problem with this, especially in PvP, I'll get back to the game in a second. My problem with this in PvP, a lot of the people who argued against me mentioned campaign stuff. I don't give a fuck about campaign. The AI is too stupid to even help me do basic videos. The AI is dumb as hell. But against a player, a real player, if Phoenix King's Skin Wolves go here, do you think they're just gonna sprint into your Stormvermin and fucking die? No. They're gonna sit here and wait. The Mammoths are gonna break your front line. When your entire front line is routing, now your Stormvermin have to either go forward to protect your Warp Block Jezzails because your front line's dead, and now the Skin Wolves can just walk in behind you and they get into the box anyway. Or you sit here and hold off the Skin Wolves, and then your front line's broken and the Mammoths get onto the ranged units anyway. I hate it. Please stop putting your Stormvermin in the back. Put them in the front. If you're taking elite halberds, put them where the fighting's actually going to be. Now, I know there's arguments where people are like, well, you know, the front line's going to take ranged fire, yada yada, so on and so forth. I mean, they're still going to take ranged fire later. What do you have here that's going to compromise the enemy ranged fighter? If let's entertain that for a second. If Norsca brought 4 or 5 javelin or axe throwers, what the fuck are you going to do about it with this build? Nothing. So they're going to get through your front line as they usually do, and there's going to be 4 or 5 axe throwers that are still fucking here to shoot your Stormvermin in the late game. It doesn't matter. So put them in the front so your front line doesn't break. Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Think about it. Seafang and Burning Head plus a Mammoth charge. Boom! This front line's gone. And all of a sudden your Stormvermin have to wander around like dickheads and your back line's open. I hate it. Anyway. War Mammoth coming in. These are clan rats. These aren't Skaven slaves. They do get charge defense versus large, meaning the War Mammoths won't get nearly the effectiveness they need unless the Marauders break that charge defense first. Ikka Claw is the Skaven Lord. He brought Flensing Ruin and Brass Orb. Brass Orb are disrupting the Marauder charge. And Flensing Ruin gonna tax Wulfric's HP. You do see Throg in this matchup. Wulfric is also good. I'm not trying to say Wulfric is bad, but Throg is usually here just to counter Flensing Ruin because he can heal through it. The War Mammoth is in. It looks like the War Mammoth is just breaking up the enemy line so that Skin Wolves can charge in. And I like this a lot. A lot. I promise I will stop pausing after this, but this is a beautiful strategy moment in our strategy game. So the Phoenix King sees that there's 4 fucking halberds in the back. So he doesn't even bother sending his Skin Wolves around the back. He's just going to break the front with the lesser clan rats are trying to hold and ignore the Stormvermin entirely. I love that, and it's punishing the exact thing I was worried about. Oops, I'm fast forwarding. That was my bad. I didn't realize I misclicked the wrong one, and I looked at chat for just a second. So the Mammoth is providing some terror, and the Skin Wolves are tearing stuff up. Now the Stormvermin are having to be deployed to the front line, and the back line is entirely open. If the Beasts of Tashnar or these other Warhounds are in position, yes, they are. They could go and pick off these guys in the back because the Stormvermin are out of position. I love it when I'm right about things. As the War Mammoth and Skin Wolves are trying to compromise the back line, they're still getting stuck on some other places because the Stormvermin with halberds will hold for a long time. Wulfric doesn't have Seafang to help break through, but the dogs are coming in the back, and Ikka Claw is being used very nicely. Now, I'll stop shit-talking the Skaven and point out what they are doing well, as Ikka Claw is trying to peel off these dogs. Other Skin Wolves are getting in the back line, but the Stormvermin and halberds are everywhere trying to deal with these guys. Meanwhile, the Beasts of Tashnar, the first mistake I'm really noticing from Norsca in play is that the Beasts of Tashnar did get overcommitted onto the front line, and now they can't punish the backline disruption that happened. And look at this mass route from the Skaven. These dogs are trying to chase them off, but soon they're going to be surrounded by Skaven slaves, which just, you know, there's a bunch of people around them, so the dogs get spooked, and then they get tear out of it, so they unfortunately can't finish the job. And we do have some Skin Wolves a bit AFK in the back, so Norsca, great strategy. The execution needs a bit of work here and there, but overall still doing quite well. For taking such a different build than I'm used to seeing, they are doing very, very well. The backline has been compromised. Only the Night Runners are able to fire as they run away. All the Skaven Slave Slingers, the Warp Block Jezzails, everything else is stopped from doing any damage. Skin Wolves and Wulfric are trying to get back here, cause a little bit more disruption. The Skaven have been pushed up against the wall of an already pretty small map, and their flighty leadership makes this a little difficult. Wulfric going in for the kill, though. Ikit is surrounded by Skin Wolves and gets Hunter of Champions, but the Skin Wolves break off to chase some Skaven Slave Slingers, realizing they're about to break, and there's some Stormvermin coming. It looks like they wanted to deal with that, but we have Skin Wolves on the top side, not moving. Phoenix King, get your Skin Wolves. Mammoths are base. Mammoths are strong. Wulfric is now stuck in some Stormvermin halberds. It looks like a Mammoth is trying to come to his rescue and break up the Stormvermin. Yep, there it goes. Nice little charge in. It is going to afford Wulfric a path out of here because he was surrounded a second ago. Good bodyguard mammoth clearing things out, being a Chad. Dog's gonna rear charge down onto the Stormvermin while the mammoth continues to fight. Wolfric's still trying to get away here, or is he just fighting with Sword of Torgal popped? Not entirely sure, but the Skinwolves are back in action. They had been remembered, and they're grabbing some Rat Ogres here and there. Warplock Jezzails plus Ikit shooting at Wolfric, doing some good damage to him over time. Wolfric is safe away from the halberds. It looks like he and the mammoth are gonna go clear out some other people. In the front line, we still have Marauders and a mammoth fighting. This mammoth's proven rather tanky. Without a lot of range DPS coming in, it even fares pretty well into halberds. Not amazing, but like, there's Marauders helping it too, so it's not like it's completely alone or anything. Wolfric gets another Flensing Rune onto it with only 1500 HP. If it is overcast, he'll probably die in the duration. Yeah, so he's gonna die or just route right off the map. Norsca will be leaderless soon. For Skaven, Ikit is very, very healthy, which is problematic for Norsca's plans in this game. We have some dogs that need to be rallied. Skinwolves on the high ground just healing up for a bit. Those ones aren't as egregious because they are so low that if you charge them back in, they'll probably just die. They do need to be chasing like these Skaven slaves and stuff, though. Wolfric getting very low. 10 seconds left on the Flensing Rune cast. And am I right again? Does he die during the duration? 5 seconds left, 77 HP. Yep. He's dead. I'm right because I'm great. So Wolfric dies, meaning these Marauders will rout, the dogs will rout, those Marauders will rout, and soon it's going to be just 2 Norscan mammoths trying to carry. And I don't think that's a sentence I get to say very often, but yes. Because these Skinwolves are so low that Ikit's going to keep terror routing him wherever he goes. So it's 1 healthy Skinwolf and the 2 mammoths trying to hold it down. Skaven's still down on the balance of power, as a lot of these healthy units, you do need to remember, they're 200 gold Skaven Slave Slingers. Like, these guys are dog shit. They're great units for 200 gold. I'm just trying to say it's not like a mammoth can't deal with the Skaven Slave Slingers. The real problems are these Stormvermin halberds. We still have 3 of them in the late game. 1 of them is hardly even damaged, and as long as Ikit is around to provide leadership and Flensing Ruins occasionally, it's going to be really tough for the mammoths to deal with this. But it looks like we still have Skinwolves regenerating and kiting around, so as long as these mammoths don't get killed off. Where are you going, mammoth? Hey! You get over here! Just the War Shrine Mammoth's currently fighting it out. Giver of Glory is giving a bunch of physical resistance, which is actually quite nice versus all the halberds this thing's about to deal with, as it charges through some nice collision attack, goes straight through him, does a bunch of damage, and they are clumping up. Stormvermin are not ITP, nor should they be. I'm not pretending they should be, but we could get some scary cycle charging in here with a central terror piece, just always threatening. If their leadership dips enough, they'll terror out, and as soon as they break formation, they'll get hunted down by the Skinwolves of Norsca. They're like Little Caesar's pizza for the cause. Yeah. Skaven Slave's getting disrupted by the War Mammoth with his War Shrine. Stormvermin holding back Marauders, gonna rout them soon, but it looks like the Marauders were just there to buy the Mammoths a quick charge here or there. Skinwolves trying to surround them again. Going for more collision attacks. The regular War Mammoth pushes through all these guys. Looks like he's kind of going for Ikit in spirit, but I think he was just trying to path through as many Stormvermin as possible for the biggest collision attack possible. 1 Stormvermin Halberd and a Clan Rat is terror routing. So are the Skaven Slave Slingers, so are the Night Runners. A mass Skaven Exodus could be in the works, but there's 2 Stormvermin that are very healthy. I mean, okay, very is a little overambitious, but they're quite healthy. But this is a problem. If they don't break, they do so much damage to these War Mammoths who are just pathing through them. Then comes a Flensing Rune from Ikit onto both War Mammoths as they're standing in halberds. One of the halberds is so close to terror routing, but it's not quite happening yet. The Skinwolves probably have to charge in here to save their Mammoth friends. Mammoth's taking too much damage. 3,000 HP on one, 1,800 on the other. The Skinwolves are coming in now to get that rear charge in on the Stormvermin, try and break them by the Mammoths. A bit of breathing room. Norsca still up on the balance of power, but I really think that is fraudulent as one of the Mammoths goes down. Another Mammoth is routing. He's gonna die in the Flensing Ruin. And the balance of power is going back to even. I think it is far better than even. I think the Norskins are doomed here. This Skinwolf's gonna rout any second. Those Marauders are already routing, and the balance of power still, like, thinks Norsca has a solid chance with, like, literally 1 Skinwolf. Oh, there's another Skinwolf over there. Versus all these Halberds and Ikit. Skaven cheated? That sounds like Skaven to me. As the Mammoths lay dead, Skinwolves fight in the Elephant Graveyard. But there's some spooky halberds afoot. Balance Power hasn't accepted reality yet, but these Skaven are winning. Skin Wolf just routes on its way in. Other Skin Wolf charges in, and it's going to run away, realizing it won't get the sandwich it wants. This is obeying the attacking rule, by the way. Marauders and other Skin Wolves are coming, so they're attacking while these other Skin Wolves just kind of be cagey. Skaven used the left-click strategy. It's good strategy. Skin Wolves in the fight for now, trying to hold while their brethren come in for a rear charge, but it gets terror is just too menacing at this point. You have to fight on top of halberds while getting terror routed while your lord is dead and you're just cowardly wolves. So Stormvermin in the back is a solid strategy? No, I think we saw that it is not a very solid strategy. Phoenix King abused it super heavily in the early game. He had some key mistakes. One, not bringing a caster, and two, we saw at several different points there were units just standing around on the high ground, especially like right here, that could have been flanking, really capitalizing on things. But I do think he abused the Skaven front line heavily in the start. He's trying to cycle charge to win, but it's going nowhere. One of the Skin Wolves shatters. Another one is back in. Again, charging the Skaven halberd mob. That's GG. Why are Stormvermin almost the same size as Skin Wolves? Because Skin Wolves are small. I cast War Mammoth. No way. It get 2,600 value for his Cleansing Ruins. Stormvermin halberds all got really good value. David Attenborough would appreciate the fact the factual that small rodents outlasted the largest mammals after the Ice Age ended. That's just history, brother. Skaven slaves got rolled, but for 200 gold apiece, it's not a big deal. The Warplock Jezzails got shut down immediately, and that was a much bigger problem. The Skaven did it. For the Phoenix King, Wulfric only got 517 value. I was shocked when he got that Hunter of Champions on Naked Claw and then managed to not hit him a single time. That was pretty fucking epic. Skin Wolves didn't do much, but man, the Mammoths tried to carry. Series is 1-1 as we go to game 3. High Elves on the other foot now, as Big JP takes them versus Tzeentch of the Phoenix King. Skaven OP rider. True. True. I love how the Phoenix King, after not taking a caster, takes the caster faction and then takes 2 casters. Because the Exalted Hero of Tzeentch has that, like, free spellbook thing. So he's like, oh yeah? I saved my casters for game 3. Anyway. For the Hives of Big JP, we have 4 Lyran Reaver Archers, one of which is the Heralds of the Wind. We have 5 White Lions of Crace, one of which is the Puremain Company. He has his own Archmage of Life. He stole the Phoenix King's tech to use it against the Phoenix King. That's fucked up. Then we have the Fireborn, some other Dragon Princes, and that is it. On the other side, Tzeentch, we have Chaos Lord on a disc, just a nice anti-large halberd character. Exalted Hero, also anti-large halberd character, but he brought his Book of Secrets just in case. Then we have a front line of Forsaken and Zongors, 2 Chaos Knights with Lances in the back, and a Sorcerer of Metal with Plague of Rust and Searing Doom. Actually, it's 3 Chaos Knights with Lances. Twist, I did. I did. In comes a nice breath attack from the Life Caster onto the Chaos Knights. Just takes out their barrier for now. Plague of Rust is down onto the Fireborn. Is even overcast, making them very vulnerable to the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. And as they try and run away, those Lances will get good charges on their back. What will it amount to is we do get a regrowth coming for them. And I don't know if the Exalted Hero has used any of his books yet. He has not used any of his books yet. We'll see if he gets a free Plague of Fate of Being or not. Dragon Prince is trading even with the Chaos Knights with Lances. Dragon Princes will need some healing to get past that. Earthbloods, though, probably, seeing as how we just saw Regrowth get used over here. The Fireborn are having a tough time. They don't want to take a fight with both of these halberd characters, the Exalted Hero and the Chaos Lord. White Lions plus the Dragon are winning the front lines. The High Elves doing well there, at least, but they are having a tough time. He got a Fate of Buta! Oh my god! He got a Fate of Una from the random cast right onto the Fireborn. Big damage onto those guys. Plus a nice Searing Doom on the White Lions of Cray. So rough early game here for the High Elves. Bounce power is still about even, but I do think losing the Fireborn to a Fate of Una is pretty brutal. 33% chance. Dragon Prince is still fighting against Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, but these two Halberd characters are actually a very annoying presence for the Dragon Princes. Just constantly picking off models. Bye-bye Fireborn? Yeah. Such a stupid item. Hey, 66% of the time it sucks and does nothing, but that 33% of the time. Another breath attack out from the Lifecaster. Good damage onto the Zongors, but then the two Halberd heroes find her, so she needs to keep moving, which she will, and get to safety. But that's going to be a big Searing Doom. Lots of damage onto the Dragon Princes and White Lions there. Blob's getting pretty heavily punished. Bounce power is still 50-50. Tzeentch's front line is taking most of the brunt of the damage. They are actually already kind of a spent force. We have one healthy Forsaken. The rest of Tzeentch's front line is in dire straits. The High Elves still have a couple frontline units to fall back on, but Chaos has a lot of Knights left. And there's not as many Dragon Princes. There's a lot of Cav for the High Elves, but you gotta remember 4 of them are Skirmish Cav. So that Dragon Prince is about to rout it. Looks like he's not doing too hot. Fireborn are dead. We've established that. And I think that's it. I don't think he had 3 Dragon Princes. I think he only had 2. Dragon Lady tries to get a charge on the Exalted Hero of Tzeentch. Doesn't even break his barrier before having to try and retreat. And he immediately gets a couple shots onto her back. She is supported by barrier. Oh no, the Pure Main Company are providing Guardian. But Guardian is only physical resistance, which literally everything on this roster has magic damage. What are the other 2 spells the book has? It has Withering Heat, which blows. It's a mild, slow, and fire weakness. And then Enfeebling Foe, which is fine. But nothing here does fire damage, so meh on that fire one. Are people smashing the likes or my bug to 10? I know there's been a lot of bugs where it doesn't refresh unless I actually hit like the refresh button. And that's done. YouTube fixed that. So the Dragon Lord is trying to fight it out, but she's about to get charged by these things, and the 2 Halberd characters are very, very problematic. For the High Elves, we have some healthy Skirmish Cav that are running low on ammunition, and we have the Pure Main Company. For Tzeentch, 2 very healthy heroes, actually 3 healthy heroes, 1 healthy Chaos Knight. That's about it, but that's probably all they need. I really don't see how the Skirmish Cav can deal with these 2 characters, and then with Chaos Knight support, of course, they're going to be fine. Archmage trying to run away. Exalted Hero still has his Book of Books. But what does he use it on? Does he book? I would book the Heralds of the Wind and just see what happens. See if you get another Fate of Una. If not, it's whatever. None of the other spells really matter. For now, he's not going to book anything. He's probably just going to go after the Archmage of Life now that he's up in the sky. Nope. Gonna let the Archmage get away? I wouldn't do that. I'd go get her. Doesn't look like it matters. Bounce power is pretty abysmal for the High Elves, but still probably want to chase the enemy Lord down with her healing. There's the Book of Secrets. It turns out to be an enfeebling foe, so the Chaos Knights plus the Exalted Hero trying to punish the lowered stats of the Pure Main Company, try and get them to rout while they're debuffed and get something out of it, but army losses hits anyway, and Phoenix King will be advancing to the finals. For Big JP, his front line won, but couldn't leverage that into a victory. The Fireborn got rolled. The Plague of Rust put them on the defensive early, and they could never fully get away from the Chaos Knights, and then a Fate of Una sealed their fate. But, like, they were already having a tough time before the Fate of Una hit. On the other side for the Phoenix King, his heroes did fantastically. His caster was also pretty good. His front line, while they lost to the White Lions, they held for long enough for the Triple Knights and the heroes to do their job. So, GG. GG. Alright, so is there a way to switch this easily without... Oh, he's learning! Ah ha ha! I learned how to switch that easily. Next, we're on to Tequila Sunset versus Torasin. Boom. More High Elves. With 2 books, you have to have a 54% chance to at least get 1 Una. Brona? More like math nerd. Got him. A true dwarf took selfies, chopping tree went for the campfire. Yeah. Alrighty, Grand Cathay versus the High Elves. For Grand Cathay, we have 2 Onyx Crowmen, including the Empress Crowman. 5 Peasant Long Spears, Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon with Plague of Rust and Dragon's Breath. Some Jade Warrior Crossmen, Jade Lancers, looks like 4 of the Jade Lancers, and we do have the Righteous Lance of Wei Jin up in the sky. Am I the only one that feels like the Longma Riders in general either like clap fools and do so much work, or suck and die? I can't find an in-between. I have some games where it's like, I swear, this is just me being salty, but I swear I'll order them to like, oh, go fight, you know, Chaos Furies of Khorne, and then they'll like instantly delete them and take no damage. I'm like, nice. And then the next game, I'm like, hey, go fight Chaos Furies of Khorne, and it's the same situation. And I look back, and the Chaos Furies barely took any damage, and they routed my Righteous Lances. I don't know. I feel like they're the most like random fucking unit in the game. But I'll quit malding and actually cast this game. For the High Elves, we have a staunch line of spears backed up by Lothern Sea Guards, Silvern Guard, Archers, and Light Armor, and this is generally how I like to play High Elves. I think their Archer lines are just so strong. We have Techlets for Flock of Doom and Nets to hold anything elite in place, and then we have some Illyrian Reavers to do a little bit of backline sweeping and maybe chasing off anything that is routed. Zhao Ming, flying overhead, throws out a Dragon Breath quick onto some Spearmen, and the Jade Warrior crossbows are outdueling this one Lothern Sea Guard, but there are more where that came from. There's an awful lot of archers are nearby. Where will the first nets be, I wonder? That's how they feel in campaign 2, basically. Log Marauders. Shurinical, thank you for validating my feelings. That is appreciated. Tequila Sunset. Techless' first net is going to net these Jade Lancers in place, so you can immediately see a bunch of big red arrows show up onto them as the archers are going to try and save themselves by just shooting the absolute piss out of a Jade Lancer that got into their backline. Another one got into the backline, but it does stall out for just a second, lost Micro for a brief moment, and then does get charged by Lane Reavers while still getting shot. And a lot of them see got attacked by Crowman. This Spearman needs to move up. He won his fight against the Peasant Longspear and just needs to go and harass the Jade Warriors like these guys are. Jade Warrior crossbows will last quite a long time versus High Elf Spearman, but it's just about disrupting them, stopping them from shooting for a while. Tequila goated. Tequila Sunset is pretty goated. The Bound Fiery Convocation of Techless hits one Peasant Longspear and routs him. I'm surprised he didn't go for the bold onto the Jade Crossbow thing, but I think that was a safer play. He could hit his own Spearman up there, that'd be bad. The archers are getting dispersed up a little bit. Nangao grenades disrupting them further in the back while the Longbow Riders charge on these archers with light armor, and now the High Elves are in a really bad shape, honestly. Their archer lines have been compromised. Grand Cathay brought a lot more mobility than they were expecting, it seems, because 2 Illyrian Reavers can't stop all of what is going on, and the archers are just getting picked off here and there. Even with High Elves' insanely high melee defense stats, I mean, you can't withstand heavy cavalry charge and Onyx Crowman with just melee defense alone. This Spearman is stopping this Jade Warrior from firing, but the other 2 Jade Warriors are perfectly fine, and of course, Zhao Ming and the Longbow Riders are doing whatever they please at the moment. Techless wasn't able to get off enough nets to get enough damage out with the archers because there was just too many targets. Like, there was 4 Jade Lancers, right, and then 3 flying units and Zhao Ming. That's 8 things you have to net down. It's not gonna happen. The Hives are putting up a valiant last stand, but I think that is already what it's at. It is at the last stand stage. I mean, if you have mobility, you have the archer advantage, and you have a caster with a breath attack, all these High Elf Spears are just going to eventually die. Eventually is the key word. Techless is not going to be able to carry this game alone. All the archers are dead. It's just Spears slowly walking into getting kited by archers and psycho-charged. So, I think that is GG, unfortunately. Jade Warriors aren't as common anymore. It depends. They're still pretty common if you're playing defensive. If you're playing offensive, people usually just take Peasant Long Spears, because all of Grand Cathay's infantry sucks at being offensive, so might as well take the cheap one. Anyway, Jade Warrior Crossbow still firing from a high ground position. Zhao Ming charging around, and I don't want to be dismissive, but this is looking very over. I don't foresee a way the High Elves could ever possibly deal the damage to come back, so I'm gonna fast forward. Just because I know everybody loves watching High Elf Spears slowly get ground down to a paste, but I guarantee you they lost this. I promise you, there is no winning here for the High Elves. Spears and Techless, mounted defense, and then they lose. Good game. I liked Torreson's build. It seemed like he was well prepared to pick apart a Grand Cathay box, or even to deal with like a mild rush or something, but not deal with this much mobility. That's pretty brutal. So, good build by Sunset. Executed it well. You can be dismissive. It's okay. Like, you know, I've seen enough games to know when that one's gonna specifically be like completely over. I don't fast forward if there's even a chance, but like Tequila Sunset could literally go AFK and still win from that position. He was just too far ahead. So, down one game from Torreson. High Elves just had a rough go of things. But it is unwise to count out a member of RTK, because they will unsubscribe from your channel, so don't count them out ever, even if they're completely doomed. As we go into game 2, Torreson totally has a shot, guys. He totally has a shot. As the OPS Tomb Kings are gonna fight the beleaguered ass Vampire Coast. Oh my goodness. Not my favorite, there's a plant, however. Okie dokie, let's do this. Count them out. Count them out. I would never. 2 Carrion, 2 Skeleton Horse Archers, some Skeleton Warriors, Skeleton Spearmen, some Tomb Guard with Halberds, 2 Sparkle Stalkers, one of which is the Eyes of the Desert. We have 3 Skeleton Archers, one of which is the Blessed Legion of Flach, and then we have Cetra and a Kitty Cat for the good team. For the team we like, for the team we're rooting for. For the bad guy no-no team that we're not rooting for, because we've decided Torreson is the bad guy in this situation arbitrarily. We have a front line of deckhands mobs, 3 bomber mobs. That'll actually do a lot of damage to Tomb King's front line. I like that a lot. 4 handgunners. Love handgunners. They're my favorite unit on the entire roster. Then we have some Rotting Promethean's gunnery mobs, 3 of them, one of which is Lampish Revenge, 1 Carronade, and Count Noctilus with Melkoths. And that is it for spells. Oh, no, wait. He has a zombie summon spell. No Invocation Heck, though. I like that a lot. This is a good build. This is a good build from the bad guy. The guy we're all rooting against. Windows 10 Tomb Kings versus Intel 8. Intel Ghost 8 core. Yeah. No bloated corpse equals rigged game. This isn't a new player tournament. New player tournaments always have a bloated corpse, but here everybody wanted to win. So Noctilus goes out, gets a quick little Melkoths on the Skeleton Archers. His cannons are also trying to deal with them. The Archers are in range. Noctilus has to throw out some summons to disrupt them. The Coast hate Archers. They despise Archers. So dealing with them is a must. But this is going to be where the big damage comes in, as the bombers should hit these low armor, tightly packed zombie mobs. Yeah, that is big, satisfying damage to watch. As a Skaven player through and through, I do enjoy some range damage. Oh, look at the range damage! Yes! Such violence! So the Tomb King's trying to break through the back line. Now, we do have handgunners and cannons counter-firing these Sepulchral Stalkers, doing a good amount of damage, and a lot of the archers are getting taken out. Cetra is in the back line, though, causing some disruption as the Wraith Storm starts to hit him a couple times, gets a little bit of damage out as the handguns are going to peel him. Handguns can defend themselves, thank you very much, as Cetra's already down to half HP. The cannon shooting him, and the Lampish Avenger crawling forward to do something about it as Carrion desperately try and keep him alive. Cetra's like, I don't want to really be here anymore, and starts to run for his life. Skeleton Archers are still alive, but they're just being pushed back, and the longer they're not firing, the longer you can deal with Cetra and this other stuff and clean them up in the late game. Skeleton front line of the Tomb Kings is trying to break through, but Noctilus plus summons are holding them back for now. Just throwing his body in the way while the cannons and the handguns, everybody's throwing on guard mode, just shooting at Cetra with Lampish Revenge, chase him around. They're like, kill him! Kill the fucking cat! 1, because it's huge damage value. 2, because of course you want to Lord Snipe the enemy, especially if they're undead. But also 3, if you can stop the cat from cycle charging through your entire backline, you can focus up and kill all the big things. As the Carrion are already dying to the various defensive options of the Vampire Coast. They need to get the guns back online to shut down the Sparkle Stalkers to shoot the enemy front line that is coming through, because the coast front line is only holding for so long. It will not beat the Tomb Kings with their healing, with their Tomb Guard. They're outmatched in the front line, so got to get the guns back online to offer a little bit of DPS there. Skeleton Horse Archers throwing in their lives to kill the Carronades. Shutting those guys down is important, and there comes a new shop summon onto the back of the Zombie Fire Gunnery mob. Those pistols pushing forward. Those are not handguns. Those are actually pistols. So they have fire while moving, but non-arm-piercing shots is a little brutal. Archers still getting swamped by Noctilus summons. They can't keep firing. Only the Blessed Legion of Flach is feeling good at all. The Tomb Kings have mostly gotten through the front line. Cetra is still alive for now, though a Wraith Storm is coming for him to try and end that, and I'm getting a little concerned. Just a little bit. The Tomb Kings' ranged is getting stopped. If you can kill that last handgun mob, the Tomb Kings can actually totally win this. If they kite out their Sparkle Stalkers to kill the crabs in the late game by just shooting them with Sparkle Stalkers, they can definitely win this. The Seppi Stalks getting caught in melee is very concerning, though. I don't love that, since they're the only things you have that can kill those guys in the late game, and you really don't want to do that in melee. Cetra continues to get lower and lower. He is charging the last handgun mob as... Nope, that's also a handgun mob. There's the pistol mob. I was like, I thought you were a pistol mob. What the hell? So the true last handgun mob is still poking away at Cetra. Every so often, the crab shotguns hit him, and he's down to less than 1,000 HP. He even thinks about crumbling for just a second. Gets back into the game for it now, but there comes the crumbling again. Cetra might be doomed, might not. The Blessed Legion of Flach clinging to life, but not feeling great about it. They do have armor sundering that could be useful in late game versus the crabs, but there goes Cetra. And it's looking a little dire now for the Tomb Kings. For the coast, the only negative things I can say is, I mean, there's some of this shit is fraudulent. There's a lot of summons getting thrown out by Noctilus, so who knows how much of this stuff is real. One Promethean mob is getting very low. A lot of their chaff is getting very low. Noctilus himself is super healthy, but like, if they don't get army lost, I actually think the Tomb Kings have a chance, because Sparkle Stalkers could do a lot of work. But with that Sparkle Stalker dying, with all these other infantry dying, yeah, it's probably not going to matter. I mean, two rotting Promethean mobs and Noctilus can easily take out the Esthetiz, so never mind. This is over. And Torreson takes us to 1-1, going to game 3. Sakura, it's been a while, dude. Would Cetron Cherry be good here? Probably not. Probably not. All right. Torsten takes us to game 3. Avenges his fallen brethren and takes down the OP Tomb Kings. Game 1 wasn't that close, as the High Elves got easily overrun by Grand Cathay. Game 2 was closer, but still not that close, as Cetra got sniped out very quickly with the Vampire Coast. I need to remember how to get my blocker back up. Boom. Game 3. What is going on with High Elves today? Another High Elf game. And Torreson, in game 3, his tournament life on the line, he says, on God, for real, on fleek, I'm taking Lokir Fellheart. Taking my fate in my hands. Tequila Sunset, meanwhile, taking War Lions. Twist! Twist, if you're still here, he took War Lions just for you, buddy. War Lions just for Twist. Alright, Tequila Sunset and the OP High Elves. Front line of Spearmen, pretty standard stuff. And then we have Rahagra's Pride and another War Lion of Krace. Double Dragon Princess, one of which is the Fireborn. We have a regular Star Dragon, 2 Illyrian Archers, and then an Archmage of Shadows? With Pit of Shades and Melkoth. You took a Star Dragon and 2 Dragon Princes. You didn't take a Healing Caster. Okay. Okay. On the other side, we have Dark Riders, Dread Spears, and Witch Elves charging up, including the Sisters Singing Doom, Cold One Knights, Dark Riders, Lokir Fellheart on his Dragon, and a Shadows Cast with Melkoth. So it's Melkoth versus Melkoths and Pit of Shades. I am so suspect of this High Elf force not taking healing with this type of build, but whatever. Some of the Dark Elf Cav does overextend, gets beat up by the Dragon Princes, and Illyrian Reaver Archers are going to get routed off full free. Don't love that, but the front line is engaged. Witch Elves pop their Witch's Brew, which they really need to do if they're going to kill High Elves. The High Elf front line has so much melee defense that you really need those extra stats to get through them. And even though they're using those stats currently on War Lions, you can see when they do get to hit a Spearman, they massacre those fools. Remember, kids, hit the Witch Brew. Just hit it. As soon as melee's about to start, hit Witch Brew. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you're rampaging. They'll hit anything, and they'll hit it really, really hard. As these Dragon Princes are getting massacred by the Witch Elves, by Lokir, by Melkoths. And I have to say, this is a disastrous start for the High Elves. Sure, the Dark Elves down here lost some Dark Riders, but who gives a shit? Both War Lions took incredible amounts of damage. Dragon Princes, one is already going off the field, and the High Elf Spearman front line is also just taxed. This is looking really brutal. Star Dragon gets a beautiful breath attack down the side of some Bleak Swords as Lyran Reavers charge in, trying to rout off the Bleak Swords, and those Witch Elves. Dragon's going to offer terror to it as well, just as Murderous Prowess pops, giving him a little bit more leadership. These Dragon Princes are going to get going. Even they can't withstand the power of Lokir Felheart landing directly on their face. Healing is for the weak, but Pit of Shades is for the strong. Hits debatably 4 units, all clumped up. The Dark Elves taking insane damage, starting to spread out now, but they have lost a Dread Spear and a Witch Elf for their hubris. Meanwhile, more Melkoths just slowly hurting. Actually hurting the Cold Knights, so the Shadows Caster for the High Elves going hard in the paint right here. Trying to bring it back. So the Star Dragon and Lokir kind of cohabitate the same space, and now they're getting a bit of a fight, but the Helm of the Kraken Lord plus Lokir's naturally high stats, plus he can pop Dreaded Duelist every once in a while. He should beat the Star Dragon, though currently he's trying to path past it. Dude, you should just stop and fight the Star Dragon. It doesn't have healing, and you do. Take that fight. Lokir, take that fight. Looks like he's going to ignore it for now. Another Melkoths is out on the Fireborn. This time his Cold One Knights are trying to hold to the very end. Lokir rear charges into the Fireborn. Could this be an overextended? If Star Dragon can land on him while he's sitting in Fireborn, that could be a bad time. But they're fighting on top of Dark Elf support. Nice Dragon Breath attack down the side. The Cold One Knights are routing. Dreadspear is going to follow soon, but the Fireborn have to opt out. And the High Elves have no infantry left, meaning the Dark Elves can always take fights on support. It's going to be a bit of a problem. Star Dragon tries to get in there and fight while the Fireborn are surrounded right now. Looks like they may try and break out, but they're surrounded by spears. Take a bunch of damage. They're going to tear out, and the High Elves are falling really far behind the bounce power. I definitely agree. As we have some light skirmish cav, a full health supportive Mage Lord, a full health Star Dragon. But for the Dark Elves, you have a full health Lokir, a full health caster of your own, and then you have light cav, heavy cav, infantry support. So the Dark Elves just kind of have more of everything right there. As we all of a sudden tank to 50 viewers, I know not why, but it does make me sad. I hope they're in a better place. Star Dragon is getting T-posed on by Lokir as he attempts to make more dragons, and I won't go further into it than that. As the Dark Riders finishing running off other High Elf forces. Nice surround here from the Cold One Knights. And even Melkothsing the poor Lyran Reavers that are already in over their heads as another Pit of Shades comes out for the High Elves to damage some of the Bleak Swords. Not that the Bleak Swords are really going to win or lose this thing. Has he been a meme or call him being viable for a while now? No, Lokir hasn't been viable for a while. He was only like kind of good in the Dwarf matchup in Warhammer 2, but he's gotten some buffs recently that made him a little bit more viable. Desperate last gamble as they try and kill Lokir, but he just pops Dreaded Duelist. 8480 melee stats on a Dragon Lord. You're not getting through that with a basic Mage Caster. Come on now. And Torreson brings it back, baby. High Elves 0 and 2 on this. Look at, does that mage portrait look weird to anybody else? I don't remember her being at that angle, but she's just kind of looking down like, bruh. Bruh, did Lokir just spank me? What the hell? Yes he did, lady. Yes he did. Star Dragon, not performing unless Imrik is mounted on it. Witch Elves did fantastically because he popped the Witch's Brew. Do that. I love, that's another video I love the comments on where some people are like, well, of course you should pop it. Yeah, I made the video because I watched an awful lot of games where they didn't. I didn't just make a video about a thing that didn't exist and get mad about a thing that didn't exist. I got mad about a thing I saw too much. Holy shit, there's more high elves. Holy fuck, there's more high elves. Alright, so we're on to the finals. And there are 2 or 3 games left, but I can guarantee you there's at least 2 more games of high elves. Oh god. Okay, which one am I currently on? I'm on 2, so I need 3. Boom. So we know the finals is between Phoenix King and Torreson. Let's do this. Game 1, we actually get a sight we haven't seen. We've maybe only seen it once this playoffs. Not even just Stormvermin playoffs. Playoffs in general. We've only seen Greenskins maybe one other time. So Phoenix King taking some Greenskins versus Torreson's High Elves. For the Greenskins, we have a bunch of Boar Cav. We have Orc Boar Boys, Orc Boar Boy Biggins, 4 of the Biggins, 3 of the regulars, and we have 4 Goblin Spears, 3 Black Orcs, and a Goblin Great Shaman with Sneaky Stabbing and Vindictive Glare. On this side, for the High Elves, we have 4 Illyrian Reaver Archers, Silvern Guard and White Lion of Crace front line, more Silvern Guard back there, triple War Lion, 1 is Rahaga's Pride, then we do have an Archmage of Fire with Burning Head and Fireball. I don't know what the point of Black Orcs into High Elves is, because High Elves aren't exactly known for their heavy armor. They're known for high melee defense, so I generally enjoy Savage Orcs more here for their higher melee attack and weapon strength. The armor piercing feels a little suspect. Black Orcs are too good into High Elves not to take them. I think the armor piercing is a little wasted, but sure. I suppose High Elves could struggle with their heavy armor. It's not like the High Elves have a ton of armor piercing themselves, but they did bring triple White Lion of Grace, so I don't know. I don't believe in it, but more power to you. They fixed the HP issue? Which HP issue? The Archmage does not have like a million HP if that's what you're thinking of. So the Black Orc front line is in. Nice little breath attack down the side. We just missed it from the Archmage of Fire, but it did a little bit of damage there. The Orc Boar Boys are trying to cycle charge through. I don't know what the High Elves are going to do about all the Boar Boys. There's not a lot to counter them, really. As a Burning Head goes through the Black Orcs. Not going to do a lot of damage to those heavily armored boys. Leadership debuff is a little bit... It's good against Greenskins in general, but the Black Orcs aren't going anywhere. Yeah. Dragon is charging in as the Mighty Roar hits. Already we have some Orc Boar Boys routing. The Black Orcs might get going too. Might being a keyword there. Meanwhile, the top Black Orcs down to about half HP. Middle Black Orcs doing okay. And these bottom Black Orcs are routing now. Goblin Spears and Orc Boar begins charging into the fight to try and get involved. Goblin Great Shaman is in there. He is in that fight. Might want to be a little careful. There's the first wall. As the Greenskins are getting a rear charger on the back, the Hives didn't have a lot to defend their back line, so it is pretty free rear charging. Firecaster dives in, but already some more lions are routing. Looks like a White Lion is also going to rout. Yes, they are. Kind of surprised they're not ITP since the White Lions are like hunters. They hunt manticores in the High Elf mountains, for God's sakes. High Elf mains being correct. Alright, Loopy. Alright. I was just saying I mildly disagree. I don't think it's like hard trolling. I just don't know if they're actually the most effective thing here. The Bacon Cav still running down the Firecasters, having a hard time getting up into the sky. The balance of power is still a little more positive on the High Elves than I would have suspected. I guess it's because these 4 Illyrian Reaver Archers are all still alive and still have a good amount of ammunition. But that ammo's not going to matter for a whole lot. This whole Orc build is armored besides a couple Goblins. The Shaman's fine. He's fighting the lines without issue. Yeah, I was just a little concerned of him being in deep. Not as concerned about, like, taking a bad fight. But the Archmage of Fire wasn't really able to punish it too much. And there's still just a lot of greenskin bodies around. Second and final wall is out, just because I've never seen the greenskins get a third one. So I significantly doubt it'll happen this game. Orc Boar Bacon's getting rear charged by Illyrian Reavers, but that is not gonna do very much. It's a nice breath attack onto the Goblin Great Shaman. This balance of power is a little fraudulent. I think the High Elves are definitely way on the back foot, and it is saying they are mildly on the back foot. But the Illyrian Reavers can't do very much against all this heavy armored Bacon Cav. Goblin Shaman is totally fine. This Fire Mage doesn't want to fight it, because Goblin Shaman is an anti-large arm-piercing duelist. The Spider got several buffs, like, last year or something, and it's always been a decent combatant since then. Issue is Fire Caster doesn't have anything to do with her magic here. Can't Burning Head the Blorks, and the Spider Shaman doesn't care about Fireball. True. Very true. The High Elves, I don't know where their damage is going to come from at this point. We do have some War Lions trying to hold, trying to save this lady. As Illyrian Reavers come to pee a little bit. Quick Burning Head through Goblins routes them off. Black Orcs also not going to get hit by it, so they don't even get the leadership debuff, though their leadership would have been fine. I guess the balance of power is thinking about the 2 Silver Guard. I just don't rate them very highly with Black Orcs and Goblins still around that could get buffed up by the Sneaky Stabbin', which is great. Sneaky Stabbin' with Black Orcs is a really good combo. So if you're going to take Black Orcs, that is a fantastic spell to take. They need the melee attack just to get through the High Elf backline. Did they fix the Goblin's HP on a Spider? I remember it being less than a basic monster. Yeah, it's gotten several buffs. Yeah, it's pretty high up there. Out of 10,000 HP. Another Vindictive Glare out just to poke the Archmage of Fire a little bit, get that guaranteed damage here and there. So the High Elves still have some Skirmish Cav that's pretty healthy. We have a couple War Lions running around. There is a Dragon Lord, technically, though our HP ain't looking so hot. For the Greenskins, I've been overhyping them a little. I still think they are in a very good position this game, but I do suppose they're running a little low on steam. Their Black Orcs are quite tattered. We have one healthy Boar Boy Big, and the other one is quite wounded. A Goblin Spear is a big who cares, one burning head, and that thing's dead. So maybe the High Elves can rally some stuff. Also, the High Elves have mobility advantage right now, in this exact moment. So they are currently just picking off anything that is trying to rally in the distance. War Lions get a downhill charge on the Orc Boar Boys. Those aren't even Orc Boar with Biggins, and they held that long. Really big Burning Head, and a Breath Attack down onto a giant blob. The Breath Attack mostly overshoots its mark, though, unfortunately, but still, it was a good combo. I admire the attempt. It just didn't amount to much. I wonder if the Breath Attack was targeting the Goblin Great Shaman. It probably should have just targeted the ground, since there were so many dudes all clustered up in the same spot. Illyrian River Archers still firing in here and there. Still have Silver Guard able to hold for a while. But I think if that Breath Attack had done more damage, then this game would have been very different, because that was a huge moment. But it could not be. Did I learn Breath Attack target ground? Apparently it can. Archers busy shooting at the Orc Boar Biggins. Don't want to shoot at the Spider. I guess it does have 120 armor and then 15% missile resistance. It's not like they're going to be able to kill it. Might as well damage the supporting guys. Aiming for the Blob Pour RNG. Gotcha. Another Vindictive Glare, still poking down the Archmage of Fire. I like that. Good free value. The Greenskins just kind of trying to find a fight right now as the High Elves use the last of their ammunition, which is running very low. 7 volleys on that guy, but 2 here, 2 here. Not a lot. Looks like the Black Orcs are going to charge the braced Silver Guard. Is there a Sneaky Stabbin', or is he just saving all of his winds of magic to poke down the Archmage of Fire at this point? Who knows? In comes a Burning Head and a rear charge, trying to leadership bomb out these guys. Also hits the Goblins, doing huge damage onto the Goblins. There they go. Black Orcs almost routing too. Does the dragon join in? Its terror won't matter, but its damage just might. Another Vindictive Glare hits the lady on the way in. does not rout the Black Orcs. Their high leadership and ITP proving to be a huge problem, and now the Bacon Cav gets their revenge, charging in, but they are fighting on top of Silver and Guard. The most elite spears the High Elves can bring that aren't the fucking Phoenix Guard. Silver and Guard are still pretty strong if they can just sit and grind. Black Orcs still getting really close to routing. Orc Boar Biggins have taken a lot of damage. This game is not over because Spider Shamans have terrible leadership. If left alone, he is fighting on spears. The spears cannot break. They cannot break. They cannot terror out, or this game is over for the High Elves. Can they hold? This mage doesn't know what to do. She's going to rear charge onto some Orc Boar Biggins while the Silver Guards still hold. In comes the terror routes onto the boys. Regular routes onto the Black Orcs. Vindictive Glare trying to get cast at point blank range as I double click, so I apparently back off. More Boar Boys are routing. All of them are routing. The Greenskins can't hold. They can't hold. The Spiders trying to take out the dragon. Their last real chance to stay in this is to kill the dragon. Lower the leadership enough so everything terror routes, but everything is routing for the Greenskins. The High Elves can rout them all off. They can rout them all off. They can chase these guys to the ends of the earth. Silver and Guard can still hold down the Goblin Great Shaman, and the Fire Mage can charge to her heart's content, but another Vindictive Glare hits her in the back. Look at the leadership on the Shaman. It's down to 15 leadership as the High Elves pull off the heist of a century and claw this game back from the jaws of defeat. A fireball was thrown to the Goblin Great Shaman to give him a taste of his own Vindictive Glare medicine, but it's not to be as a tree blocks it. But yes, this is the advantage of having mobility prowess in the late games. You can rout off everything. It will not be allowed to rally. And I think that is definitely it. The Silver and Guard are getting their money's worth just stabbing at this giant spider. Look at them go. And if there's nothing to rear charge them, their leadership will never tank, so they won't rout off. Bounce power is 50-50, just entirely betting on the Goblin Shaman, but the Goblin Shaman can't clear out the Silver and Guard. It will lose just to them. Sneaky stab and popped on it. It's actually getting them close to terror routing. Oh, it's so close to terror routing them. 15 leadership with the Silver Guard. The Silver Guard are what is making me so confident for the High Elves. Without them, like, this Spider Shaman can kill an awful lot of Valyrian Reavers. Maybe not that full health one, but Silver Guard hold, man. They don't break for nothing. 1400 value and climbing. The Spider still just stuck here fighting. Crown of Command makes it unbreakable for now, but the Spider... The Fire Archmage is staying super far away, so Vindictive Glare can't poke it down. Like I said, the High Elves know they just have to let the Silver and Guard carry this game. Where's the dragon? The dragon is staying very far away intentionally. He doesn't want to get Lord Snipe, because if he gets Lord Snipe for any reason, the Silver and Guard will terror up because their leadership will fall. And right now he's like, the Silver and Guard are dominating this fool. I don't want to mess with that, so he just stays away. And the High Elves bring it back. That was an epic comeback. I thought they were doomed. Now you see, earlier in the stream, when I fast forward when a game is literally unwinnable. I don't fast forward just when I think someone is ahead. And that is an instance right here where I thought the Greenskins had it for sure. But I was like, there is literally a 2% chance they win, so I will not fast forward. I only fast forward when this shit is doomed. Like, doomed. That was a very good game. You'd love to see it. The Phoenix King, with a pretty Chad build, almost had it, but then that massive rout was a big problem. For Torsen, good tenacity to stay in there. The Silver and Guard, getting real big value for him, and these Lyran Reaver Archers just persistent chasing things off. Good for them. Very, very good game. Spider kind of sucks. I don't think it's like OP or anything, but I think it is good for what it is. Like, you need to remember, it's not good versus everything, but like, all Greenskin Lords have low HP and are weak to like Spirit Leech and Fireball, except for the Spider, and kind of Azhag on his mount, though Azhag on his mount also doesn't have as much HP as you think. So the Spider can really throw your opponent off if they were planning on Lord sniping you pretty easily. Just having a giant fuck off Spider can really be a downer on things. Game 2, I promised you there were 2 more High Elf games. Here we are. If you want a Game 3, you are rooting for the High Elves. If you want this shit to be over so you can go to bed, you are rooting against them. David... Oh, I'm going to ruin your last name. David Palino $10. That level of excitement during the blob fight is why I fucking love this channel. Hell yeah, dude. Happy to hear it. I'm just here for more high elves. Laughs and Rider of Rohan. Forget Grom. Grom's pretty squishy these days. But thank you, David, for the donation. Is very much appreciated. And I'll try and keep the hype coming, but only the appropriate hype. Because if you're hyped about everything, then it becomes off as disingenuous. Okay, so the Phoenix King is on his high elves. He's like, all right, let me show you how to high elf. Triple Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, a bunch of Spearmen. We actually saw him fight this battle earlier. It's his Archmage of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood. Lyran Reavers and Dragon Princes in the back line. So triple Dragon Princes with the Fireborn. We saw this build before. I love how I thought it was a Phoenix King special where I'm like, oh, it's his Archmage, whatever. And now this whole Stormvermin tournament, none of the other tournaments so far. It's just the Stormvermin tournament that, like, everyone and their grandmother is taking an Archmage of something on a fucking dragon. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, for Torsen, trying to close out this tournament, he has some flanking carrion, looks like just one. Cetera on his kitty cat, which you're pretty used to seeing by now. Skeleton archers, Tomb Guard with halberds, a lot of skeleton archers actually. More skeleton spearmen and Tomb Guard than the Eyes of the Desert Sporkle Stalkers. Now Cetro was trying to cause some disruption, gets immediately jumped on by the Archmage of Life, and you can see the Fireborn are closing in. Dun-dun. Dun-dun. But they're actually just going to go downhill. It looks like they're going for a sick charge onto Umbrace Skeleton Warriors. Downhill charge. Lance's couched boys go piling through them. Bam! Big impact damage. Takes out a third of those guys' HP, and then they're going to retreat as Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance gets some damage onto them. Skeleton Archers also caught out of position a little bit as Lyran Reavers get them, but that is big shock damage from the High Elves on the charge. As the Tomb King's just man-tied. This is as many skeletons as you can put into a build, walking forward slowly to put the High Elves under threat. And once again, the Bolt Throwers are like, really, dude? We just want to fucking shoot at something nice. Which I guess they did a lot of damage to the Chosen Gods. Flow those guys back. Now they're shooting at the Eyes of the Desert. But the triple Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, again, for the second game in a row for the Phoenix King, are going to be just on a timer before the Tomb Kings get through the High Elf front line and shut them down. Kepregard and Cetra trying to work on these Spearmen, but the Spearmen of the High Elves will hold. The brave Asur, fear not the weak and pitiful Nehekar Empire. I love how it's two empires fighting that are known for their Spearmen and known for being better in the past. But the High Elves are less past. Dragon throws down a breath attack onto a nice big clump of Tomb Guard, getting some decent little damage while the Fireborn try and chase down Cetra, but Cetra lures them into a bit of a trap. Lots of skeletons awaiting them, and the Fireborn are going to back off. High Elves holding for now, but Carrion will disrupt the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers in the backline. Another series of Incantation of Vengeance hurts the Fireborn quite a lot. They have received healing a couple times already, so I have no idea where their actual heal cap is. It looks like Cetra is coming pouncing in for the Archmage of Life, wants to catch her on the ground and get a little bit of damage out. Of course, she's an Archmage of Life. Of course, she's going to heal a million, but there's that. But, ooh, the High Elves doing their own flanking for the first time. Instead of protecting their Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, they just dived backline themselves. Chosen the Gods under attack by the War Lions of Grace. Those armor-piercing war beasts going to hunt down these guys and get really big value, while these other Dragon Princes could charge the Sporkle Stalkers. It looks like they're going to do so. High Elves about to lose two of their Bolt Throwers, partially to Archers, partially to an Ushapti summon literally on top of them. And their last Spearman line of defense is faltering. Though I still think the High Elves are feeling pretty good about their situation in this game. They're healing up the Fireborn, who, you know, are trying to carry the whole game. They've shut down the Chosen of Gods. They're about to get the Sporkle Stalkers. And Cetra hasn't been able to accomplish too much. As he looks to get another charge going, the Archmage of Life is kind of shadowing him, but decides to dive down into this blob fight, helping out to kill Archers, Sporkle Stalkers, and another Archer is tangled up in this wall. Bolt Throwers fire in. And another Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance going to hurt the regrowthing Dragon Princes. Where is your healing cap? It's got to be somewhere. That's the second regrowth I've seen on you. There it is. Heal cap's right around the corner as the Fireborn get a downhill charge going towards Cetra, and he tries to run into his skeletons, but he kind of T-poses for a second and loses the plot briefly. Balance power is roughly even, though I would definitely rather be the High Elves. Down here we have a lot of crumbling spears. Sporkle Stalkers are dead, but to the Tomb King's credit, they've killed a lot of High Elf Spearmen. The High Elf front line is not feeling too good. Eagle Bolt Throwers have been shut down. That's 2,100 gold value worth of artillery you need to stop from shooting. The Fireborn have been dragged to half HP with their heal cap very close by. Settra is getting a good little damage onto the Archmage of Life. He is a much better duelist than she is. She could fight back a little bit, but Settra is better, especially if he pops his spells and buffs and debuffs and all that stuff. Phoenix King rear charging with the Dragon Princes to push away some of the Skeleton Spears and offer support to their Archmage of Life, while the Kepler Guard come downhill to deal with some of that. Tomb Guard Halberds fighting back to back. Well, actually, just, yeah, back to back with each other. They're surrounded on all sides. They're just swinging in any direction of Dragon Princes and such. The dragon still seems pretty content to be down in the fight, and these archers reformed lines just in the middle of chaos to get any shots out they can. While still 2 bolt throwers are technically online, Skeleton Spears have breached this one, so I doubt they'll stay alive for much longer, as these bushes popped up as soon as I zoomed in, so I guess I don't get to see anything today, which is also fine. Another Syrian's Incantation Avenge is doing good damage to the Fireborn, who just tried to charge into the Kepler Guard, and we'll get bogged down in those elite infantry. Elves are still slightly ahead on the balance of power, and I would tend to agree, but there's a dangerous amount of Tomb Guard left in this game. There's 2 Halberds that are very healthy, and the Kepler Guard, while not feeling healthy, can heal quite a lot if they're given the time. Meanwhile, the Fireborn get dragged down. And remember, if you want a game 3 between these two, you are rooting for the High Elves. Phoenix King is on the back foot. The Tomb Kings won game 1. Well, they were the High Elves back then, but Taurusson won game 1. Syrian's Incantation is so good. It is very, very good. Archmage of Life is trying to hunt down Settra. Meanwhile, the Kepler Guard crumbling a bit, which is disrupting some of their healing. I mean, they're healing while crumbling, but obviously they're not gaining any ground as long as they're crumbling away like that. The Tomb Guard Halberds trying to reform lines as Dragon Princes keep charging back in. Settra's going to get his own charge over here, and if he has his Blessed Blade anytime, that is huge versus Dragon Princes. The minus 24/24 melee stats makes them just like paper. But he gets rear charged by the Archmage of Life. Now, dude, if you have your blade, now is the time to use it, because you're going down hard. Balance power is tipping very far away from these guys. Usurian's Incantation of Vengeance is out onto the Earth-Blooded Dragon Princes. Other Dragon Princes are routing, but Settra's blade does not appear to be off cooldown as much as he needs it. This lady is surrounded by halberds right now. He gets a big shot onto her. His only hope in this game is the blade getting popped right about now. The Funk's so rubber. Check it out now, I guess, as the fucking Tomb Guard are just down here chilling. She gets chomped by the big kitty cat. She's taking so much damage. Settra is beating her ass, putting this game on his back. He doesn't give up for nothing. Jeff's Incantation of Cursed Blades was down for the Tomb Guard that he's standing on top of. I can't quite highlight them, but I see all the wiggly swords. Dragon Prince is still taking a lot of damage, even though they've gotten a ton of healing. Tomb Guard still fighting. Tomb Guard on the high ground also still fighting, but a big, big breath attack down onto Settra. Just as it was looking good, just as the King of Kings, the mightiest of the Tomb Lords, was putting the game on his back, a whole bunch of fire hit that very same back and kind of crumbled his spine into ash. At this point, the High Elves can delay. They have a bolt thrower. Looks like it is online. It gets up onto the ridge, fires downhill, etc., just trying to get any damage out onto him they can. But as long as the High Elves stall, they can heal up, they can cycle charge. Etc. did not complete the kill onto the Archmage of Life. He took so much damage from breath attack. Bolt thrower smoking him in the face as the Life Mage comes back over. 1 breath attack left for her, and honestly, it'll probably end this game, even if she throws it onto Tomb Guard or Settra. Any target is a good target. She gets a charge attack in. Where's the Blessed Blade? There's the Blessed Blade. Can he hit her? Can he lower her stats? He takes 1 hit. He has not managed to get a hit in. She gets a second attack onto him, and that'll be GG. He couldn't lower her stats in time. He couldn't save himself, and he will go down, taking us to game 3. It has to be game 3. There's no way. There's no way, right? Army losses is so close, but ooh, he gets big hits in onto the Archmage of Life. Holy shit, he's actually doing it. Does she get a regrowth off? She gets a regrowth off. Even if she routes now, she'll get up into the sky and she'll heal up plenty. Settra's at 300 HP. As soon as he gets a charge, his charge bonus wears off, he'll start crumbling again, and then he'll die, and then the game will be over. As what the fuck was that? Did anybody else see that lady just fly sideways for a little bit? Dragon Princes hold down the fight. They're poking down Settra. They'll take him out, don't you worry. All right, yeah, it's over, it's over. Game 3. High Elves so overpowered they go 2-0 in finals, but now, whoa. Oh, okay, thank God. I don't know why it skipped the end game screen. I guess we don't get to know, but there is no spoilers because you just learned there is a game 3. So take that. All right, game 3, let's do it. Let's do it. Our first Lizardmen of the night? This might be our first Lizardmen of the night. Versus Torsen's Grand Cathay. For all the marbles, Game 3 between Torsen and the Phoenix King. The pride of XMT versus the best goddamn RTK player in the world. Or at least my favorite. If he's not skill-wise the best, he's emotionally the best. This is, I wouldn't say standard, but this is a strong anti-Cathay build from the Lizards. A bunch of skinks just to bog down the front line while you have armor-piercing Coldwind Riders, 4 Ripperdactyls. Ripperdactyls are the key to this matchup. And then you have a Rev Crystal for extra healing, and then Mazda is huge here. With his various disruption spells, he can do a lot of damage to their heavily armored front line. Apotheosis to heal himself up with the Rev Crystal as well. But a Storm of Shadows is trying to slow him in place while double cannons are lighting him up, and this is a huge problem. In this matchup in general, Mazda and any Slon is very weak to cannons. So for Grand Cathay, they took 2 cannons, which always do great versus the Lizardmen Lords. We have some Jade Lancers, triple Iron Hail Gunner, quadruple Iron Hail Gunner in case of Dread Saurian, and then a Jade Warrior frontline with Jade Warrior Halberds on the flanks. And someone earlier, if you're still here, you were asking about Jade Warriors. See how now that he's playing defensive, he brought the Jade Warriors, and when he's playing offensive, he took the Peasant Long Spears. That's when you use Jade Warriors, is when you're standing in one spot and just need to hold. You have a Zhangdu War Drum to make those Jade Warriors even harder to break, and a Yin Caster with Ancestral Warriors and Storm of Shadows. Mazda's already gotten healing, and he is still getting pretty low. And in come the Ripperdactyl Riders. Ripperdactyl's trying to stop these Iron Hails from being able to fire, as Mazda is going to attempt to break the front lines so he doesn't just get gunned down by them. But there are an awful lot of cannons still doing really good damage to him. Another Storm of Shadows is going to slow him down. Meanwhile, the Iron Hail Gunners are trying to throw on guard mode and stop the Ripperdactyl Riders from penetrating the back line. But the Ripperdactyls will do what they have to for the old ones. For the Horned Rat! In comes the first banishment to disrupt some Iron Hail Gunners, and I think it'll be quickly followed up by a Ruination of Cities, probably right here. There's a Halberd and 2 Iron Hail Gunners in range of 1 Ruination of Cities. If you get lucky RNG, yes, there he is going to cast it, while Mazda gets through the front line, does a lot of damage. How are the casts? The RNG is fantastic! Doing so much damage to the Ripperdactyls, plus the Coldwind Riders getting a downhill charge, taking out a lot of the Jade Lancers. This is a lot of really good disruption, but Mazda's taking so much damage, and this cannon is continuing to heroically fire at point-blank range. Have Grand Cathay gotten far ahead enough? Have they done enough damage to actually finish Mazda Mundi? Can they peel off the Ripperdactyl Riders, who are taking a lot of damage? These are expensive units, by the way. And that Ripperdactyl is about to rout any second now. An Ancestral Warrior, spooky Ghost Halberd gets summoned onto the battlefield right under the feet of these Ripperdactyls and Coldwind Knights and Mazda. So a lot of damage to still be done. These other Ripperdactyls are still trying to shut down the Grand Cannon. That is down to 1 model that is firing at Mazda. And an Iron Hail Gunner, oh no, disaster for the Lizardmen. Iron Hail Gunner forms ranks at point-blank range, firing onto Mazda, who is sitting on top of Ghost Halberds. He's trying to get away. Phoenix King immediately throws Ripperdactyl Riders and the Bastillodon into there just to knock those guys out of position and stop shooting Mazda, who really needs to keep healing with Apotheosis and the Rev Crystal, which he is doing so. The Jade Warrior front line is completely chilling. That is not the story of this game at all. They'll beat up the Skinks and no one will care. The entire game is about defending the backline, and in failing to do that, at least taking out vengeance on your opponents, and vengeance is the name of the game. Apotheosis is here to try and heal Mazda Mundi as he continues to take damage from the Lord and the Ancestral Warriors, but it's getting a little bleak for Grand Cathay. They're currently up a little bit on the balance of power, but like, I'm very worried about how this game's going to go from this point. Cannons are all shut down, ranged is all shut down, and Mazda, if he can just kite this out and start healing up a bunch, he can get back into this game wholeheartedly. He still has another Ruination of Cities. He has another banishment that he can throw onto some of these Jade Warriors and get to safety, but the Yin Lord is not letting him get away. The Yin Lord is getting some decent damage down onto him while he's surrounded by random Jade Warriors. They're not Halberds, but they're still Jade Warriors getting shots out. Rev Crystal will heal him up nice and safe. The Ancestral Warrior is about to fade away, and these Ripperdactyls should be safe to get back into the sky. You still have some healthy Jade Warrior Halberds, but again, a Ruination of Cities could be coming for those fools at any moment, and then they will all die. Nice job from the Phoenix King to pick off these guys in the back line. Don't let them rally and get more shots onto you. So Lizardmen are just taking some time to heal up, also picking off their opponents. And Mazda goes in for a nice rear charge on these Jade Warriors. Gets a good little bit of damage off, but they are immune to psychology because of the Zhangdu War Drums. So it's not like they're going to tear out or anything. Riperdactyl solar engines are so OP. That is true. Cathay's front line continues to hold, but that's all that's left for them as a Ruination of Cities goes through 3 Jade Warriors, doing really nice damage to those guys, picking them off. We still have 1 Halberd that is healthy to worry about, and the Yin caster has another summon, another Ancestral Warrior summon in her back pocket. A Banishment, a little overeager in my opinion. It was on the right target, but while he was disengaged, he is going to dodge a lot of that damage. Now, thankfully, some good RNG. It is traveling with the Jade Warriors, just doing extra damage, but still, maybe a little hyphy there as Mazda continues to heal up. But at this point, you can see what I was talking about earlier. The bounce power is starting to shift in the Lizardmen's favor because they just got to pick everything apart and then heal up Mazda. If you ever hear me talk a lot about like mobility advantage, this is how you use it. Like chasing down these guys, making sure none of the ranged units can come back and shoot you in the back. This is really good play. This is how you deal with Skaven. This is how you deal with Grand Cathay. This is how you deal with Dwarves. Dwarves is a little trickier because nothing of theirs ever fucking routes, but if it does route, you need to chase it down. Because while these guys slowly grind on, just to mention some battlefield stuff, if your opponent is boxing, they have seeded all of the map that is outside the box. So if you get anything outside the box, they're entering your territory, and you have to punish them for that. Because if there's no punishment for them routing out of the box, they just get to rally. Now they're rear charging you while you're fighting on top of the box, and it's like they got the outer advantage while having no mobility presence, because, like, what's the fucking point? So if you're ever trying to break a box, remember not to overcommit. Like, you've seen it a lot this stream, honestly. And again, there's just a melee grind going on here, so I have been talking about some strategy stuff, but a ghost summon shows up. Mazda's gonna have to be careful not to sit on that for too long, but otherwise I'll be fine. But we've seen it a lot this stream. Melee infantry aren't going anywhere. You don't have to be attacking them. So if your opponent just has melee infantry, remember the Tomb Kings in game 1 versus the High Elves, where the Kemrian War Sphinx was charging around with, like, and Big JP had 1,000,000 Tomb King's infantry. The Phoenix King on his High Elves just ignored them. They'll still be there. He can go back and get them. They'll still be there, but he was picking off everything that wasn't a part of the defensive formation anymore, picking off anything that was out there. It's not like the melee infantry are going anywhere. There's no range units doing damage to him. But a mistake I do see a lot is, like, in this exact situation, some people pile all of their resources right here to just try and get the win quickly. Like, oh, let's get the Lord to rout, or let's get the Zhengdu War Drum or whatever. And all these halberds would start coming back. Iron Hail Gunners would start coming back, and all of a sudden you just get shot in the back. But not seeing that here. Really using his healing advantage, just healing up his big important people, waiting out the summon. It's just good strategic play that I hope to see in more people's games. We have armor-piercing Colden Riders coming back in, a ton of skink support, and the Lizardmen are just waiting 3 more seconds before this fades away, and it'll be GG. Now, without halberd support, the Lizardmen immediately turn back to go kill these fools. He had both my lances, so they couldn't peel. Yeah. Torsten, I'm not saying you played poorly. I think you actually played very well. It was a super close game, and if you had managed to get a couple more shots onto Mazda, you would have killed him, and this whole game could have flipped. Lizardman leadership would have been lower, they would have had way less healing, and then he wouldn't have had those crowd clearing spells that killed your Jade Lancers and stuff. Your Jade Warriors with halberds. So I think you played great. I'm just pointing out, like, oh, this is a really textbook example of how to break a box, so I wanted to just point it out for people that, like, you constantly talk about having the mobility advantage, but what does that even mean? It's like, you can see it here. At this point, shit is doomed. There's no Ancestral Warrior summon for the Dragon Lord of Yin. The Zhengdu War Drum is just beating out its last few drums. And the Phoenix King will be the winner of our Stormvermin playoffs. An excellent final series here from him and Torsen. I loved the double High Elf games. That was pretty hype. Both the High Elf games in this final series were pretty good. Look at those cannons. Remember how quickly the Phoenix King shut down the cannons, and they still paid for themselves with gusto by just shooting Mazda in the face. Mazda got good values, Skinks did fine, Coldwind Riders did very well, but it was the Riperdactyl show. Riperdactyl's doing great. Did I just miss a lesson on how to keep your box alive? No, you missed the exact opposite. How to tear apart a box. I think that dead cannon killed a cold one. It's not true and not allowed, though it might have been. I'm gonna check that out just in case, because if that's true, that's definitely worth like a little meme video, but otherwise this is the end of the stream. Phoenix King is our winner chicken dinner. Also, is the stream ending? Yeah, you hopped in right at the end. If you didn't take a look, we have a whole bunch of streams planned this week. We have a new player tournament on Wednesday. We have the playoffs for the Chieftains on Wednesday. Playoffs for Grey Seers on Saturday. I think that's all I had scheduled. I'm just curious about the thing Loopy mentioned. Loopy mentioned a Cold One Rider might have died, so I'll watch for that. But other than that, we're just chilling, talking to chat. It was a good series. Oh, double stream Wednesday is going to be a little tough, but it is what it is. We got to get these playoffs done. We got to get these playoffs done, son. And this was the playoffs for our mid-tier Stormvermin. So if you're looking for super high-level gameplay, be sure to check out Wednesday and Saturday streams. Those are the Chieftains and the Grey Seers. The skill level theoretically goes up as you go up the difficulty brackets. Is there a stream schedule somewhere? I think if you just go on my channel, it says the stream's coming up. TK up, take off global ban list. We just put them on the global ban list, you turds. Yeah, if you go to my main channel, like just Human Boy Yes Yes at YouTube or whatever, like it says upcoming live streams. You can see them all posted there. Alright. Sorry for this. We're just watching to see something Loopy was talking about. That a cannon might have killed a cold one. Does that mean Phoenix King's been upgraded to the next tier? No. So this is based off of our Discord bot, our best of 3 Discord bot, where you end up on the leaderboard at the end of a season. You can play in... You can play in different tournaments based on how high up on the standings you are. I love how these cold ones are getting distracted fighting the cows. I didn't see a cold one die, but he did stagger after killing it. All right. Boom. There you go. All done. All done. 2 playoffs left. It's not even October yet. We got to think of some stuff for spook season. So here's the thing. All right, for those of you who hung around for my rambling, here's the thing. Halloween stream. You get to help me decide content. Halloween. Dress up like witch hunter, Volkmar, and witch hunter only stream. Yes, no. So like what I mean by that is like doing a campaign with Volkmar, but I can only take flagellants, warrior priests, witch hunters, Volkmar himself, no mages. But like I go online or somewhere, get a leather coat, get one of those wide brimmed leather hats. Just talk like Saltspire the whole fucking time. Sigma protects heresy, and then like run around and just be obnoxious. You got to be real fucking obnoxious. Like declare war on everyone for no fucking reason. Like someone makes a trade deal with me and they offer me like 10 gold, and I'm like 10 gold? You think that is enough for me? Heretic, and charge him. Skaven cosplay. Like here's the thing. Just being real, no memes. Skaven cosplay sounds fun and it's on brand for me, but the problem with the internet is there's going to be a subsection of people that don't take that well, and those people will think that I'm cringe and like unsubscribe or like get really butthurt where they're like, oh, he's a furry now, and it's like, no, it's like it's a funny thing because my YouTube name is Human Boy Yes Yes, implying that I'm a Skaven pretending to be a human boy. And they'll be like, no, he's a furry. And get all butthurt. Because you can't have fun on the internet. That shit died in like 2019. The internet's not a place for fun anymore. The internet's a place that if you're not careful, you get in a lot of trouble. Human Boy's a furry now? I see this is going in a productive direction. Alright, we have 15 votes for dressing up like a witch hunter. I might have to do it. Okay. He's the funny Skaven rant guy. Skaven rant guy? That's me. Okay, well that'll be it for tonight. In case you didn't catch it, I do have 2 streams scheduled for Wednesday. So if you need more content, just hop in Wednesday. I mean, we have 2 in a row, and I'm definitely not going to be tired at the end of those. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, bye. Goodbye.